Hey everybody, it's Dr. G from Windmill Chiropractic, and welcome to today's video conference. Today's video conference is how do we deal with the holiday stress and starting the next year off right. And this is going to be a whole lot of fun. I even have some notes I'm going to be referring to as well because I want to make sure I cover everything for you guys. So we want to eliminate holiday stress and start the year off right. And I've got an acronym for RIGHT, R-I-G-H-T, which we'll get to in just a couple of minutes. So again, welcome. I'm so glad we're doing this through the video. Helps me feel even more connected. Hopefully it has even more impact for you than listening to the phone or to a recording. So let's talk about the holidays. The holidays are supposed to be an amazing time of year. However, sometimes they do cause stress in our lives, and we're going to talk about that. I want to discuss what that means to you. For some people, when the holidays come around, instead of it being a wonderful time, the stress occurs with things associated with spending too much money or more money than you want to, whether it's on gifts or travel or entertaining. That's certainly all part of it. Other people have stress about what we're eating too much, too many times, drinking too much, too often, things like that. This is a time of year where those things can definitely come into play. For some of us, stress involves time with the family. And I don't just mean the immediate family that you see every day. More often, it's the extended family or the extended people that you see only during these times of years. And, you know, we may have some stress with that because of things usually from the past. You know, we may have bad memories from either certain individuals or certain things that have happened around the holidays that are absolutely out of our control. Someone may have lost a job, may have lost a loved one, and it's something related to the holidays. It may have been bad weather and you had a car accident or something like that. So we want to talk about that kind of stuff. Of course, a lot for many of us as well. The holidays have a tremendous amount of good memories, of positive things, and of cheer, excitement, things like that. The things we remember when we were kids and the things that we remember from years ago. So for some of us, the experience that we're having around the holidays that might be a little bit more stressful is actually loneliness. So I do want to touch on that as well. So my acronym for starting the year starting the year off right and getting through the holidays. The R stands for remind yourself what you are celebrating. And we just finished Thanksgiving. And around the time of Thanksgiving, well, we talk about gratitude, which is what I talked about last month, and that's actually one of our letters as well. So sometimes Thanksgiving, because we don't usually have the gifts, and it's a time of thanks, it's a little bit easier for people to think about the true meaning of Thanksgiving, the things that we are grateful for in our lives, and that's what I talked about last month in the gratitude video. So Thanksgiving, what we have though is we have food, we have time, we have family. So we want to remind ourselves, what is the real meaning of this day to me? What does this day mean to me? What makes this particular day, holiday, celebration special to me? So you have to remind yourself of why you're celebrating Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's. Doesn't matter what it is, but remind yourself why. Remind yourself why you're doing this. You need a reason why. It can't just be, well, because everyone celebrates it or we've always celebrated it. Find the real why behind what you're doing. The second one is the I. The I in right, R-I-G-H-T. R is remind yourself of the day and why it's important. I is imagine the best situation coming out of the day. Don't remember to the previous years if they weren't the best and ideal situation. This time you imagine the ideal situation with this particular day, event, holiday, or celebration, and literally visualize how you want it to go. What would make it an ideal situation? And when that's the case, you get to focus during your day. When that day comes, you get to focus on your ideal vision. So that's extremely important as well. I cannot stress that enough. The G in right is gratitude. Now, we gave a whole video last month on gratitude because of Thanksgiving. But gratitude for the true meaning of what this holiday or celebration or event means to you. It's an interesting thing about gratitude or thankfulness. I heard a quote just the other day and I absolutely loved it. I wish I had it in time for my gratitude video last month. But this was really cool. It said, "What would you wake up to tomorrow if the only thing that you had tomorrow were the things that you thanked God for and were grateful for today?" Now that was really interesting when I heard that. Even my daughter, we were driving, she's 11 years old, and she looked at me like, wow, that was an interesting thought. So the only things I'm going to wake up to tomorrow are the things that I was grateful for and thanked God for today. So that makes us think about, well, what do we take for granted that's in our lives? Is it our health? Is it that we have a house, that we have a car, that we have a job, that we have a family, we have a loving spouse, we have children, we have parents? Whatever it might be, what are the things that we might be taking for granted? And I mean that in two ways. Not only, of course, thanking God for all of the great blessings that we have, but what about the gratitude we show for the people? Because here's what happens. When you're grateful about something, you are appreciating that something. And when anything appreciates, what happens? It goes up in value. For any of us that have bought houses, we want them to appreciate because we want them to go up in value during the course of us owning that home, of course. But let's think about our child or our grandchild or the grandparents or our parents or the brother or the neighbor or that uncle that doesn't necessarily get as much attention during the course of the year. Whoever that is for you in your life and in your family. How about focusing on the appreciation of what that person brings to the table? Literally, as in if they brought something, but even if they didn't bring something which might in the past upset you, because again, how could they not want to bring something? That's what I would do. I get that. But we're putting our expectation onto somebody else. So how about just being grateful that they're there? Being grateful for the conversation that you have. Being grateful that they're able to be there to share the meal with you. That is just such a critical thing. And here's the neat thing. Nobody can take that away from you. I don't care about the comments from the other person, the mother-in-law or the brother-in-law or whoever it might be that just in the past has gotten under your skin. But you know what? Nobody can do that to you. Eleanor Roosevelt has a great quote, and she said, you know what? Nobody can step on your emotional butterfly without your permission. You have to let them get under your skin. Okay. Let me give you an example. I'll give you a ridiculous example. Let's say you have, let's use myself as an example. I have dark hair. If someone came up to me and said, oh my gosh, your blonde hair looks ridiculous, I would just be like, I don't know what's wrong with them. I have dark hair. Next. I wouldn't even think about it because it's so contrary to what I know is true. Well, let's apply that to the people and the situations that in the past have frustrated us. And if we took those negative comments, those things that are said just to get us going, and we just next it, Just say, you know what, that's not true. You don't have to say it out loud necessarily. You can if it's appropriate, but in your brain you're going, that's not true. Next. Just as ridiculous as it was if someone told you, if you have dark hair like me, that, your blonde hair or your no hair or your red hair looks ridiculous. Just next, that's not true. It's so ridiculous. I'm not going to let it impact the beauty of today. So it goes back to the R. You got to remember what the day is all about. Imagine it at its best. Be grateful for all of the things that are involved in that. And then the H in RIGHT is to have a plan. Have a plan for these different things that are stressing us out. Have a plan. Know what you're going to do ahead of time. If the money thing bothers us, then you know what? Have a plan. Whatever it might be. We are willing to spend X amount of dollars on this particular holiday, as far as if you're the one that hosts it and makes the dinner. And if things start looking like they're falling outside of that as you plan, well, then ask some of the guests to bring other dishes. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's spending money on gifts, well, then set parameters. If it's between you and your spouse, if it's you and your kids, set a dollar amount, and everybody needs to be okay with that. And it doesn't mean you're setting the dollar amount because you don't have the money. You're setting the dollar amount to be realistic. And another part of that when it comes to the money side is to look at it from the perspective of, well, let's look at other people's lives. I don't mean comparing ourselves to other people, but I mean, you know what, this Thanksgiving or this Christmas or whatever it might be, obviously Thanksgiving is past already, but what can we do as a family, as a couple, or what can I do as an individual to help those that are less fortunate than us? Many of us at our churches, you have giving trees. That's really neat, but it's not quite as personal as maybe collecting goods for a women's shelter. Our Ladies Inn is one that I think of off the top of my head. And actually bringing those things to the women's shelter and seeing the impact that is having. Think about the lesson that it is, not only for all of us, but the lesson that it is for our children and for our grandchildren. So think about what those stresses are, or the things that you'd like to improve about the holiday, and make a plan. And then the last part is T, RIGHT. T is taking action and teaching others. The taking action is you need to take action on your plan. If it's about food and you don't want to eat too much food to gain a certain amount of weight or any weight over the holidays, have a plan, whatever that might be, and then work the plan. It might be portion size. It might be not going back for seconds. Or, again, whatever it's going to be for you. With the drinking, it might be a certain number of drinks over a period of time, or never 2 days in a row, or 2 weeks in a row, whatever it is for you. Or, for some of you, it might be, you know what? Not at all. Whatever it is that works for you. The teaching part is teaching others in your life, usually family and friends, what you have learned, not only on this video cast, but what you have learned and how you have made changes. So maybe the downfall is your mom always saying, you know, honey, have seconds. This is your favorite. I made it just for you. You know what, Mom? I really appreciate it, and I absolutely loved it. But I'm really trying to take better care of myself health-wise, and I'm not taking seconds. Now, I will definitely take some leftovers and have some more tomorrow and the next day, but I'm really trying to take extra care of myself. No thanks, I only want that one drink. You know, oh, what's wrong? Why don't you? I just only want one. Or, you know what? Water's fine. I'm really trying to drink more water than I used to. I found out how much better it is for me, especially during the holidays with all this rich food. Whatever it is, you're telling them the truth. and you're teaching them something that you've learned. If it's someone that's trying to needle you and get that response, you could easily, you know what, Mary? I'd really like this year to be different, and I'd like to focus on the positive things, not all the things that we talk about from the past that necessarily, aren't necessarily the most enjoyable things to think about. I just want to focus on what's good about Joe or what's good about Jane. That's what I want to focus on this year. That's a gift that I'm giving myself this holiday season. So it's teaching things to other people. So again, eating might be moderation, drinking might be moderation or not at all. Family dynamics, deciding ahead of time how you're going to approach certain people in certain situations and take the action and teach. Because I'll tell you what, you'll teach them something and they will be amazed. They will be amazed that not only that you are doing it, because so many people either don't teach others what they know, and one of the reasons is because a lot of people don't follow through with what they know. So they know if I teach someone else about this, well, now they're going to hold me accountable. That's okay. That's okay. If you truly only want to have firsts and you don't want to go back for seconds, it's okay to tell people because they will hold you accountable, and that's okay. You can even say that. Mom, I want you to hold me accountable, so at Christmas or at New Year's, I am not doing that. I love your food. I love eating your food, but I need to take care of myself as well, and I'll definitely take leftovers if you're doing doggy bags, because I will have more of it tomorrow because I do love it. It is something that I really, really enjoy. Now, if it's the memories, because life is not the same now as it was before. Maybe the kids are grown. Maybe there's been some issues there. Maybe they've moved away and you don't get to see them as often, whatever it might be. It's great to remember how it used to be. That's what our memories are for. It's wonderful. But where we get stuck is when we dwell. And when we go, well, this year was nice, but it's not like it used to be. It's not that way anymore. The kids aren't little anymore. It doesn't mean it can't still be great the way it is right now. It's a new phase in life. Now, if it's loneliness, so for some of us, the kids are gone or a spouse has passed away or things have changed in our lives and there's loneliness around the holidays, well, then you need to decide, how would this holiday be if it were ideal given the circumstances that I'm in? And then figuring out, how can I not be putting myself in a situation where loneliness is part of it? Maybe there's a meal for Christmas or whatever the holiday is at your church, at a local community center. And you could not only go to be part of it with other people, but you could even help serve. You can help, I know, like with Thanksgiving, again, I know that's past, but I know a lot of people that the morning of Thanksgiving, they deliver meals to the needy. And they do something that makes them feel good about themselves because they're helping other people. So you know what? There might be other people around your neighborhood, around your condo complex, around your community that are empty nesters as well or don't have the same large family that they used to. Well, maybe you can invite them to your house. And your Thanksgiving is more neighbors and acquaintances than family and close friends. But you know what? You never know what's going to develop with that. You never know how that's going to continue to develop these relationships. You might be amazed. You might go, you know what? I really thought this year was not going to be enjoyable, but it was extremely enjoyable because of this and that and the other thing. And now that, for now, is your ideal situation. So let's review. It's right. R-I-G-H-T. Start the year off right. So, R. Remind yourself about the day. Why am I celebrating this day? What's important about this day? Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah. Again, we just had Thanksgiving. The I is imagine the best situation possible, again, with realizing your current circumstances, whatever that might be. imagine how it's going to be at its best. Gratitude. Be grateful. Be so grateful for the things that you have in your life. Again, that quote was so neat. You will wake up tomorrow only to the things that you thank God for today. Wow. We have to remember to show gratitude. And not only giving thanks to God, but gratitude to the people in our lives. Even the ones that we're not close to, but just appreciate them. Their value will go up. They'll feel better about themselves. And you will feel better because you know what you did? You gave them a step up and you lifted them up. The H is have a plan. The T is take action and teach others. So essentially, work the plan. That is just absolutely so critical. So around this holiday time, I want you really thinking about the true meaning of the holiday. It's not the gifts, it's not the advertisements, it's not all the material commercial stuff. Now, that can be fun to do, especially when there's kids or grandkids involved. However, let's remember what the holiday is all about. And remember, anytime you ask a child, how do I know that mommy or daddy or grandma or grandpa loves you? Most of the time their answer is not because they buy me things, it's because they spend time with me. Let's remember that. That is the biggest form of appreciation and gratitude that we can give, is just spending time, real quality time. Shut the phone off, shut the TV off, whatever it is, and being there with the individuals in your life. Not just the kids, but your spouse, your parents, grandparents. It's a lot of people in their day-to-day lives don't get a lot of attention. You can give them an amazing gift by doing that, which is very special. Have a beautiful holiday. Focus on what's right about it, and God bless you.